What's up, everybody? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be so kind to hit that subscription button, bell, whatever you want to call it. Hit that like button, hit all that, do that, share it out, all this. I mean, I normally go live. I was going to go live, but I'm looking at it, it's like almost midnight. So I'll just go ahead and just do a video, talk about this. It was something that I brought up earlier today, and this is in regards to NetherRealm. Pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I talked about this last month and showed the clip of where one of the statue makers or toy makers from this group, from this business, said that they no longer could talk to Warner Brothers. They would have to talk to NetherRealm personally, because from his understanding, NetherRealm is no longer employed through Warner Brothers. So made that video, gave all different types of scenarios. I thought it was pretty interesting stuff for him to just come out and say that. You could hear it. You can go watch that video. I'll put it in the end of the video here, and so people can check it out and just take your thoughts on it. But there was something that I got a message from somebody, and I went through and was trying to look out for information. You got to watch out for people, because some people will just kind of throw out anything out there. So I was doing some research, trying to look and find this stuff. Really didn't find anything out there, but I think it's worth talking about, because it just goes into the theories of stuff that I was talking about last month in regards to what's going on here. And so let me go ahead and read this. It was from somebody named Chris White, and he said, it sounds to him that Sony may have been the one to pick up NetherRealm. And he said a very credible insider who goes by the name of Millie A, who leaked Wolverine amongst many other things correctly before anyone else, recently hinted at things that will show up at the rumored PlayStation showcase. And she said the new Mortal Kombat will show up. So it seems with Microsoft being wrapped up into the Activision deal, that Sony might have gotten there and taken it. So listen, I mean, when I brought up the video last month, I did say that this was up for grabs. Either NetherRealm is independent or they're acquired by somebody. Could they still be with Warner Brothers? They absolutely could be. I mean, the last thing that I seen from the big time media guys was basically saying that didn't mention anything about this was being, they were sold off, or that they were let go or anything. They're still assuming that WB is going to be still the publisher for NetherRealm. And so they brought up a thing about for what Ed Boon dropped, which was, he asked, which game would you like to see? Of course, there was I believe Marvel versus DC was the number one. It was at 40.6%. Of course, that's not really going to happen unless NetherRealm would be independent. And this is my point on this. Now, again, like I said, from what this person told me about the possibilities that Sony could get them, it's theirs. Sony has enough money to acquire, and they are going to acquire. I think that they're still trying to do the PR thing to see if they can slow down this Activision deal. But other than that, Sony definitely has enough money to acquire a studio like NetherRealm. And I think that there would definitely be a player if NetherRealm isn't with WB anymore. But going back to what I was saying with the games that they were asking was a list. And of course, we know that Ed Boon likes to troll. He likes to get out there and have some fun. But for them to ask these questions about the games, it also seems like to me that Ed Boon wants people to say, hey, pay attention to us. We're out here. I know we've been quiet, but we're still out here. And and if we're already working on something, I mean, which he was saying that he was excited about something. See, let's go back to what happened, which was pretty interesting, right? Like, he was really bragging before, matter of fact, before Jeff Keighley's show came on, about towards the summer of a game that he was working on that he's never worked on before. And like I was saying in my other video, could this been anything that had to do with, maybe some, if Microsoft went ahead and copped him, which I've heard this from multiple people. There was one person that gave me this information a long time ago about the whole Activision thing. We thought that he was absolutely insane when the time that he said it. I mean, because it was about a year and a half. It was between like a year and a half when it first was brought up. And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes that news. Then, so the next time that we were all talking and having a good time, he brought up about some more acquisitions. A couple of them, they did sound very, 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 very intriguing, but they also sounded like they made sense. But then he brought up about NetherRealm. Again, and I've heard from other people too, other people that I've listened to, that some other, I don't know if you would call them insiders, but people that work in the business, I suppose. They kind of hear the same type of rumbling. I don't know. Regardless, if they do, if Microsoft is the one that gets NetherRealm, or if it's Sony, regardless, it's still going to be a very interesting situation because of the fact that I don't believe Mortal Kombat is going. There has to be negotiations where Mortal Kombat is still going to be a multi-plat, like Destiny still will be, and probably whatever game that's going to be coming out from Bungie going forward. Now, would Sony change that contract somewhere down the line and say, look, we need this other game that you're going to be making to be exclusive, the sequel to it or whatever? Absolutely. So I would think that that would be the same thing. But for Mortal Kombat to be with Sony, I could see it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But would Sony try to demand that that game stays an exclusive? By all indications, I think that they would work with NetherRealm to make the game still a multi-plat, but they would probably have NetherRealm work on another title that would be exclusive. And I don't know how long it's been, if ever, that Sony has owned a fighting studio. I mean, you go and you try to think about all the fighting games that they've had on their console. Like, I don't know if they owned anything. I mean, like Tobal is one of my favorites. I've talked about Battle Arena Toshinden, of course, Tekken, of course, Street Fighter. All the rest of them, those were Square Enix, or at that time Squaresoft, and Sunsoft or Suncoast, or I believe it's Sunsoft, and countless others. Square, I said Square, it wasn't Square Enix at the time. It was Squaresoft, but and then of course Capcom and then it wasn't even Namco Bandai, it was just Namco. So it's interesting, because I don't ever recall that they have owned a fighting studio. It would make sense, because of the Evo situation. That would be a big draw. It's one of the biggest fighters out there. Some people might think that it is the biggest fighter, except for, if you look at the numbers, I think that Smash is the biggest fighter out there, money wise. But Mortal Kombat is definitely not a slouch, and it is one of the long-lasting, one of the most popular fighters out there, and I think even more popular than Smash in a sense of notoriety, just people like knowing about Mortal Kombat before they know about Smash. Like in the gaming community, yes, Smash is very, very large. It's got a huge platform, but when it comes to the world, people who don't play games, they would know Mortal Kombat more than they would know about Smash Brothers, in my opinion. Now, of course, there'll probably be some people that would debate me on that, and that's fine. But either way, it would be a huge gift for Sony. It would be a huge gift for Microsoft. It would be a huge gift for anybody. If there was Tencent or anything like that, I don't know if they would go there. I think, like I said, going back to what I was originally talking about, was basically saying that if there was a Marvel versus DC, the only way that I could see that happening is if they were independent. And then at that, there would be so much red tape dealing with Disney and dealing with Warner Brothers. And if they left Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers would want to work with them anymore. Now, if they are independent, and let's say that there's still some contractual situations where they still need to make, a few more fighters before they're actually done, and that's an agreement, who knows? I don't know. Like I said before, that's just my thought process when I made the video last time, saying, look, from what that gentleman is saying, that they're out there. And when you look at everything else that's happened, it's been pretty it's been pretty interesting because they were talking about the game. They were talking about this new game that they were coming out with. They were really excited about it. It was different than anything. And then, of course, the situation that happened with Mortal Kombat 11, which there was still rumored to be more content. And then it just stopped. So something happened. Now that could have been about the Discovery Plus situation that maybe kind of interfered with something, and then maybe NetherRealm was like, let's not even fool with it. Let's just wait till all the red tape is done between that deal, and then we'll just work on something else, because they just stopped it. And I mean, and it wasn't like the game was dead, because it was still very popular. Even though I know a lot of people in the fighting community hated that version. I love the version, but regardless, it's neither here nor there. So the next game that they're working on, is it going to be Mortal Kombat? A lot of people think it is. Would it be Mortal Kombat versus DC? We were supposed to be Injustice, but that doesn't seem. And if they're not with Warner Brothers, then don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's so many unknowns. Then the fact that there's more rumors that's coming up, and it's getting really, really loud again about Xbox going out and pursuing for Japanese studios or publishers. Which comes into mind to me is that, like, Xbox already probably most likely, if not from what I've heard, has already got studios lined up. Now, is NetherRealm one of them? I don't think so. I don't know. But it is interesting to see that Microsoft wanted Warner Brothers back before they got the ZeniMax deal. And I believe that they were going to get them both, which wonder how that would have all played out if they did get them both, and then the Activision deal came out. I mean, like, we would already know kind of like what their template would be and how powerful that would be. But again, who knows? And from what the person said to me, I did go and look on her site, and I didn't see anything from it. I don't know if she does videos or anything like that. I didn't go that deep to go check. But again, I've asked a couple of PlayStation people, and they said that, yes, she's very reputable. She knows what she's talking about. She hasn't been wrong about too many things. So if that is the case, if this person's true, and like I said, this person could have just been wolfing tickets. Who knows? But it's very interesting to talk about. And if Sony did acquire him, it'd be a great acquirement. And look, they gotta punch back. They got to punch back. They can't punch back with $70 billion worth of studios or publishers, but they can punch back by trying to make a splash, like with a Square Enix, or maybe just getting the Final Fantasy franchise locked down forever, and then maybe getting NetherRealm. That would be a very, very good, strong lineup for them, and especially for them not having a fighting studio that I don't even remember that they've ever had. But if they did, then that, people please in the chat, let me know. But again, that would just be really, really, really good for them. But I still think that Mortal Kombat would still be a multi-plat. I don't see Mortal Kombat, regardless of who acquired them, would lock Mortal Kombat down. And I don't think any of the legacy fighters should ever be locked down. After the Street Fighter V fiasco, no. The only game that I could see that could be an exclusive, well, actually two, is Virtua Fighter and Dead or Alive. Those are the only two. Everything else that has to pertain with even like with Guilty Gear, even though that's a lower budget title, things like that. No, I think most fighters should stay multi-plat. Killer Instinct, they're in-house from Microsoft, so that makes sense. If PlayStation did acquire NetherRealm, then like I said, it's just business. I wouldn't be upset about it. I mean, I would cop it on PC, or I would eventually have that PlayStation 5, and I would just go ahead and I would be playing it there. It doesn't matter. I mean, what I'm saying? I would still be playing Mortal Kombat. But for me, it just seems that it would make more sense, especially with legacy fighters, and where fighters are so niche at this point in time, that it just makes sense for it to still stay a multi-plat, and then maybe they would work on another title going forward. But I don't know, man. This is very interesting news. I know that there's going to be more moving and shaking. And if there's a big publisher out there that's going to be taken from the East, it could be anywhere from someone from China, someone from a studio from China, a studio from Korea, from any of that region out there. Like, I mean, I don't know if I still don't know about the whole Sega thing. At one time, I really was, and I'm still. I mean, I love Sega, and I would definitely welcome it if Xbox did, or Microsoft did acquire them. But for me, it's more about the partnership seems to be going in the right direction. And if those games do come over to Xbox, then that's the winning ticket. They don't need to try to acquire them if it's going to be a lot of red tape, especially with this whole Activision situation going on. And then look, there's other players out there as well. Like, I mean, there's still Amazon, there's still Google. You know, YouTube, Netflix is talking about getting into some things, and they also lock down an exclusive, so that's just on their service. So that's pretty interesting right there. So I mean, there's so much out there, and there's so much noise, and there's been plenty of these studios that's kind of solicit themselves. EA's even do it as big as EA has been. Square Enix, they're keep talking about that they're not making enough money on doing this and doing that, and then looking at the sales numbers of Dale Field, it's bad all across the board. So I mean, that's pretty tragic. I will definitely get that game later down the line, but there's just so much content out there, and it just seems like a lot of people just don't want to trust to pay the $60 right off the bat. And so just imagine if you charge us $70 for some of these titles. So Forspoken could be in a bad situation, and if that game is in a bad spot, yeah, I think that the floodgates will be open, and there'll be a lot of people looking for that studio. But again, the NetherRealm situation overall, very interesting. I can't wait to find out more. You know, either way, if they're still with Warner Brothers, we'll find out. If they're not, we'll definitely find out. I think when we will actually find out something, it will be probably at the VGAs, unless we hear that Sony is going to be having an event somewhere soon, like a little showcase or something towards the end of the year. If they have something that's right before God of War, or I would say right after God of War, then obviously that would probably be some big news. If Xbox comes and does an EXO event, I think that would be some really big news that's going to be dropping. And if not, then we also know that what the VGAs has become is kind of like the E3 hybrid, you know, and then we'll see what E3 is going to be like once it comes back, which I'm very excited for. But if E3 doesn't have that strong vibe, where it was the Mecca, then Jeff Keighley will definitely try to stomp out anything that's E3 related and try to have all the big news come to his platforms. And the VGA so far at this point in time, because E3 has been gone for almost 4 years. So it's one of these things where, look, there's a lot of catching up for E3, new management, all of that. So the VGAs right now is top dog. So we'll see. I mean, that's when we'll really actually will find what's going to happen. And to me, that's very interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to touch bases on you. I was going to go live, but I'm looking, like I said, it was like midnight. So it might as well just drop a video and let you guys check it out in the morning. So let me know your thoughts. Hey, like I said, if you're new to the channel, man, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If you like the content, you know, show support. We're on our way. You know what I'm saying? We're close to we're trying to get to that 5,000. So you know what I'm saying? We got a little ways to go. We're already there, over 4,000 subs. So that's really good. So yeah, really appreciate the support. So keep that coming. Let's keep it pushing. So anyway, everybody have a good one. Until the next video, everybody, see you later. Peace.